what has this year been like where you're balancing the demands of something like that, but also playing high major college basketball?
It's definitely been it's been hectic at points, just with studying for that and balancing school and basketball and all that goes with it. But I mean, there's more than enough time in the day to get it all done. I've just had to been pretty diligent about planning every week out what needs to be done, what my goals are. But all in all, it's been smooth.
What has the opportunity to have this year meant to you? Because obviously, your career could technically be over at this point. What has this extra opportunity meant for you?
With the extra year after not playing last year, I wanted to finish it out, and it's hard sitting out and not playing, and some of the the unknown of that, and being able to play and compete in games means a lot, and it's obviously a pretty special experience.
There's a lot of athletes that would take it easy academically while you're doing major college sports. Why decide to kind of do both right now? I guess you could study law school after you're done with basketball. Why push this now?
I mean, I feel like part of it just the way I was raised. My parents always held my brother and I to a high standard in everything we did, whether that was academic or athletic or whatever that may be. And I have an undergraduate degree, a master's degree, and I'll finish a graduate certificate here in the spring. So I don't know, I think it's just kind of been a big part of how my parents raised my brother and I, and it's just kind of the standard. If you're going to do it well, and if you're not going to do it, or if you're not going to be all in, then it ain't worth your time. So either do it well or don't do it at all.
And obviously you transferred before, but how much did that, I guess, help you coming here for one last year, especially given what you were balancing?
Yeah, I mean, I think it helps just with the kind of the familiarity. Obviously, I knew Coach Holt and some of the guys on the staff and Kyle Young, so I definitely made the transition to Columbus a little bit easier than maybe going in somewhere and not knowing anybody at all.
Joey, could you tell us about your relationship with Coach Holtman? I mean, obviously this is not the first time you played with him. What draws you to him? What is it about him as a coach?
I think we've always had a good connection. Going back to when he started recruiting me at Butler, he was still the assistant coach at the time. And then, as he got the interim head coaching job, and then the ultimate head coaching job, we always stayed close, and he was always the guy recruiting me. And we've always kind of clicked like that. And that's just a big part of why I'm here.
I was also wondering, with the way things are changing in collegiate sports right now, with not just name, image, and likeness, but the transfer portal. You're a good example of the modern guy who's been in 3 programs. Now, I'm just wondering if you could maybe describe that journey. You probably didn't envision it that way, like when you went to Butler. I want to go to 3 colleges, not 1. But how did that go? Would you trade that in for anything?
Yeah, I mean, if you told me how all this was going to play out when I was 17 years old, I'd probably say I didn't believe you. 6 years, and it's a lot of up and down, but that's ultimately, I think it's probably a pretty good example of what life looks like. You have this grand idea how everything's going to play out, and it's just going to fall into place, and it's going to be great, but in all actuality, that's not how it is. But along the way, I've made relationships and friendships with people at all 3 universities that I wouldn't trade for anything. There's many people that, I talk to. I mean, there's people I talk to from Butler every day. There's people from Indiana I talk to every day, and those kind of things definitely validate everything not going to plan on paper. Because if I had to pick one or the other, I'm going to pick all those other people over, things going according to plan.
Why law school? Why was that always on the table for you? Was that always something you wanted to do?
It's been something I've been interested in for quite some time. It's a pretty prestigious thing to do, and I don't know, I think maybe it's just a little bit of the academic overachiever in me a little bit that my mom kind of molded. I don't know. I think it just opens up a lot of opportunities, opens up a lot of doors, and whether that be next year or down the road, I'm not really sure yet when that's going to be, but it's something that I think I want to do and have wanted to do for a while.
What's your relationship like with, I guess, the back to the basketball court. What's your relationship like with Zed? How have you seen him? Obviously, you've not known him for a super long time, but how have you seen him grow over the course of the season and kind of, taken initiative in the paint and kind of molded as a sophomore, because he is still a young guy.
Right, yeah, I mean, Zed's definitely, grown over my time here, however many months, exactly that's been. He's definitely grown as a player, and I think over time he's just going to continue to learn. And I feel like as you make those first couple jumps, it becomes easier and easier to make those jumps. Where once you kind of get the progress and you start to see it, it just makes it easier to continue to build off of that. And it's been great to go against him day in, day out. I think he has a very bright future here at Ohio State, and I think he's going to continue to progress.
Not to bring up bad memories, but can you take us through the back injury? Just kind of what happened, process of recovery?
I started having calf, hamstring pain early in the fall last year. Turns out my disc was pretty messed up. I had great medical care in Indiana, and Timmy G and Dr. Rink, did everything that they could. I had a few shots, and we tried, really anything and everything, and ultimately got to the point where I had to have surgery, and that was just kind of how it all boiled down to, and wasn't, fun experience, but it definitely has, made me who I am. So.
How has it felt to be healthy? I mean, to be able to have a season, to be a contributor, to go through this experience and know that, I'm sure everyone wants to play more, but just to be able to have a full body of health there and show people what you can do. What has that meant to you?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, when you don't have that, you've never really experienced what it's like to not be able to have that. It kind of puts things back in perspective. And I mean, I think ultimately, I have a lot of gratitude for the people here at Ohio State that have, helped keep me healthy, but I have a lot of admiration and respect for the people in Indiana, and for all the way from Dr. Ritter, who did my surgery, to Timmy G and Dr. Rink, and the people that I saw day in, day out that did everything they could to make sure that I had a chance to be healthy again, and I was getting the best treatment and all that stuff available, and those are the people that deserve the credit with everything, and how helpful and accommodating they all were.
Were any of them among the throng that were booing you when you were back there? It was pretty loud when you touched the ball.
Yeah, I don't think any of them would have booed me. I think maybe if we shared a beer down the road with all of them, I don't think they'd boo me then. So.
What was that experience like of being back there and making an impact and seeing, I'm sure, familiar faces, but also hearing the boos? That had to be a unique night for you. Yeah,
it was definitely an emotional experience. You go back there and you see all these people that you're so close with, that you've grown close to, and you're back in a gym that you spent a lot of nights with, with your buddies shooting and talking about life and all that stuff. You go back in there, it's all these memories just come flooding back to you. Definitely an emotional deal, but at the end of the day, it's sports, same life and death. So it was great to be back and to see those people, and I'd be lying. Obviously I love Assembly Hall, and it's been a part of my life. So.
I think Trace said after the game that he's going to apologize for bouncing the ball off your head. Did you guys talk about that? Yeah,
we texted back and forth. Trace and I have no bad blood. We're still friends, so I don't think that'll change.
Joey, just since your transfer to Ohio State, how have you adjusted to your role in maximizing your minutes? Because when you are on the floor, you are pretty efficient in terms of your shot attempts, the defensive whatnot. Just how have you adjusted to your role, giving Ohio State valuable minutes off the bench?
I think ultimately it's just about being ready whenever the opportunity presents itself, and you never know when that's going to be. I've always took a lot of pride in my work ethic and all that stuff, and your work ethic isn't really allowed to falter, whether you're playing a lot or playing a little, and I've tried to stay consistent with that throughout the year, and whenever an opportunity comes, I want to be prepared for that.
You're kind of the big man specialist. They put you in at Purdue against their guy is 7'4", now Dickinson is 7'1". Just what do you see with him, and in particular, if you watched that game last night, that I don't know if it gave you nightmares or not going into there 2 days later, but just what do you see with them and him in particular, I guess?
With both players, obviously they're both very talented, and at the end of the day, all you can do is go in and compete and play hard, and you rely on your preparation, and that's kind of going to be, I think, everyone's mindset going into this weekend is, hey, let's go play hard, let's compete, let's leave it all out there, and it's all you can do when it comes down to it.
Joey, the Italian fingers, is that just the TikTok meme? What were we going with there?
So it started a while ago when I was at IU. I used to wear a pinky ring on the bench. And so then one of our managers at IU was affectionately teasing me. And I was also in the middle of rewatching Sopranos. So it just kind of all came together. And then I guess over the past year, it just kind of become more and more of a thing. So I guess it started off with a pinky ring when I was out, and then it kind of transitioned into a Tony Soprano, admiration, emulation, however you want to call it.
How does one get a pinky ring?
It was actually one of my mom's rings that happened to fit on one of my pinky rings, and then it kind of, I don't know, it was just as I was watching Sopranos, I was like, these guys have pinky rings that might be something good to wear on the bench. So I asked my mom, and she luckily had a gold band lying around that I could wear. So.
Two more quick ones, Steve.
Yeah, I'll just ask you really quick, from a player's perspective, this month, you might play 11 games in 27 or 28 days. It's kind of like an extended Big Ten tournament for an entire month. How do you guys take care of yourself? What do you do to be up and be ready to play every game? Like Purdue just showed last night, they couldn't come back on a day's rest and play. They just didn't have it. So what do you guys do to maintain that?
I think part of it's, we obviously have great care here with Brad, the guys that make sure we're healthy, and you got to take all that recovery and all that stuff serious. And, on the other hand, it's, kind of the player's dream to play, we're playing a lot of games this February. This is what you come to do. You come to play important games, in February and March. That's what you dream about, work for, and now it's just time to, one, to make the most of it, and two, to enjoy it. Like, hey, we're playing college basketball. This is a lot of fun. We're playing in a lot of really important games. Like, let's enjoy this and make the most of that.
You mentioned earlier being a sixth-year guy, and that just struck me. You don't hear that often. When you're as old relatively to some of the other guys on the team, especially the freshmen, how do you find common ground with guys that are a bit older than, or a bit younger than you normally would in a program?
Yeah, we were laughing yesterday. I think Michi probably would have been in 8th grade when I was a freshman at Butler, which is pretty wild to think about. But no, we have a great group of guys in the locker room, and we obviously all get along well. And I got my undergrad a few years ago, but I still think I could be a little bit of a resource when it comes to some of that stuff. So. Appreciate it.